Okay, here we go. Guys, I'm going to start at the back and work my way to the front because as I get close to the front, maybe you won't have to watch the video anymore. Okay, if I know two sides of a triangle, I can, of a right triangle, I can figure out the third side. So I'm going to start with this triangle over here first. Now, on this one, this is the A side, this is the B side, and this is the C side. So if I want to write this as A squared plus B squared equals C squared, then it's, I don't know, A squared plus B is the square root of 52 square, and I'm going to square that, equals 9 squared. All right, A squared, Dodger game starting, plus 52, when it's a square root of square root, when it's a square root, it just goes away, equals 81. I'm going to minus 52, A squared equals 29. So A, once I take the square root, is the square root of 29. Okay, so far kind of ugly. This answer is the square root of 29. Ugly so far, but whatever. Okay, now I'm going to move on to this one, this triangle. And I know two of the sides now. I know, but on this side, the square root of 29 is the C side. It's the long diagonal. So the square root of 29 is the long side. The B is 5, and we don't know the A. So let's do this again. We'll do it over here. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. The A I don't know. The B is 5, so I'm going to square it. And the long diagonal is the square root of 29. And when I square that, it just becomes 29. Okay, so the answer is going to be 29. 5 squared is 25. So we have A squared plus 25 is 29. Once I minus 25, our A squared needs to be 4. So once we take the square root, A is 2. Okay, let's see if that makes sense over here. Like once I erase everything, does that make sense? 9's pink number is 81. 52's pink number is just, square root of 52's pink number is just 52, which means the pink number for this side needs to be 29. So when I take the square root of it, it's actually, the black number for this side is actually the square root of 29. And then when I start working on this side, the pink number for down here is 25. The pink number of the square root of 29 is just 29. So that means this is the missing side. So its pink number needs to be 4 because these need to add together to make 29. And then I take the square root of that to get back to the black number, and that's 2. So it's definitely more advanced than it needs to be for you guys, but have fun with it. See if you'll get these. It's just, if you can do this, you can do literally anything in that realm. Okay, I'm going to erase that. I'm going to go down back to 20. Okay, this is a sphere. Volume of a sphere is we start with a pirate square. We don't give it height. We make we turn it from flat to 3D. We spin it. So not 2D, 3D. And then that stupid fraction. All right, so the volume is 4/3 times pi, and the radius is 1, half of that, right? The radius would be 1. So 1 to the 3rd power. 1 times 1 times 1 is just 1. So, okay, well, when we multiply anything by 1, so the answer is just 4/3 pi, because once you multiply by 1, it doesn't do anything. Units, 3D units. And if I put that in my calculator and I said 4 divided by 3, 4 divided by 3 and then times 3.14, if I wanted to do that, 4 divided by 3 equals times 3.14 equals, it would be about 4.19 units cubed, but these are the same. You can write either one. All right, number 19, if I want to build a cone, first I'm going to start with a circle. In a circle, we call those pirate squares. So the volume is going to be a pirate square, pi r squared. We called circles pirate squares in my classroom because it sounds like pi r squares. Okay, then we have to give it some height. So we have to make it tall. So give it some height, and look over there, I just made, but that's not the right shape. That's these ones. Okay, so what do we do now? We divide by 3. Why do we divide by 3? Because we have to crush the bottom. We have to say, oh, sorry, it was going to be a cup, but we crushed the bottom, and now it's a cone. So you see how 1, 2, 3, and we only get one of them now? We don't get those two? That's not in the cone anymore. So we divide the number that we get by 3. So pi r squared means it's a circle. Then the height, the pink height is that we make it tall. And then we crush the bottom, so we divide by 3. So let's plug all this in. Volume equals pi. The radius is 2 times 2 squared times 6 is the height, and then divide by 3. Let's see, volume equals pi times 4 times 6 is 24 pi divided by 3. That's 24 pi divided by 3. So volume equals 8 pi, and these are 3D units, so you say units 3D, units cubed. That means 3D units. This one was supposed to be 50. So the volume for this one, we start with a pirate square. Right? That gives us a circle. That's a pirate square, and if we just give some height to a pirate square, you make a cup, you make a cylinder. So let's just give it some height. That's what the volume equals. That's the answer. But in this one, they tell us the volume. They say it's 50 pi. All right, so 50 pi is what we're going to plug in for the answer. And let's see, that's going to be pi times the radius is 5, half the 10, 5 squared, and then times, we don't know height, so we'll leave it as an h. Okay, let's see. This is 50 pi's equal 25 pi's times height. Okay, remember, if anything's touching our letter, we top versus bottom it. So I'm going to put on bottom, I'm going to divide by 25 pi's. 25 will cancel the pi, or 25 cancels the 25, and pi's cancel the pi's, but I have to divide this side by 25 pi's. Let's see, pi cancels pi. 50 divided by 25 is just 2. The missing height needs to be 2 to get that to be a volume of 50 pi units. Okay. How much bigger and how many times bigger? Let's say I'm 200 pounds and someone is 100 pounds. We divide, and that means I'm twice as big as them. Let's say I'm 200 pounds and someone else is 100 pounds. If I subtract, I can say I'm 100 pounds more than them. So it depends on what people are asking. This is an English language thing. If they say how many times bigger than you is something, then you divide. If you say how much bigger are than you, I'm like mumbling, that's subtraction. So that's the first question, how much bigger? Okay, so we're doing subtraction. 6.2, get a little bigger pen. 6.2 times 10 to the 4th minus, because it says how much bigger, that's minus 3.1 times 10 to the 2nd. I hate doing these in addition and subtraction because there are no shortcuts for powers for subtraction. So I can't do, because 1 less than subtraction is nothing. So I can't combine this into anything. So I got to do this the long way. Turn them into normal numbers. I start with 6.2, and the 10 moves over. If I multiply by 10 4 times, that moves it over 1, 2, 3, 4. This is really 62,000. 3.1 times 10, so I start with 3.1, and I move it over once, twice. This is really 310. If I were to, now I can add, or now I can subtract these. Let's see, 0 minus 0 is 0. I gotta, let's see, turn that into a 1, turn that into a 9, turn that into a 10. This is 9, 6, 1, 6. This is 61,690, and you'd be able to put that into a calculator. But now I'm gonna turn it back into scientific notation by putting a decimal after the first number. So this is 6.169. And I would have to multiply by 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, times 10 to the 4th. So that's almost where we started. So this actually ended up minusing almost nothing compared to the first one. It's like so many times smaller than that. Okay, well, how many times smaller than it is it? Let's see, how many times bigger? So we're dividing 6.2 times 10 to the 4th divided by 3.1 times 10 to the 2nd. And there are shortcuts for this. We can do powers rule division. 1 less than division is subtraction, so times 10 to the 2nd power. And 6.2 divided by 3.1 is just 2. So this is 2 times 10 to the 2nd. Or 2, where you move it over 1, 2, 200 times bigger. So it's bigger by that much, or it's 200 times bigger. This one, write the answer in scientific notation. Okay, I'm going to erase this over here. Again, there are no shortcuts for addition, so we can't do this. We have to write it we have to make it a normal number and then add it. So let's see, we'll start with 1.4 and we'll move the decimal backwards 3 spots. 1, 2, 3. So we have 0.0014. This one, we're going to start with 1.4 and we're going to move the decimal backwards 1, 2. So it's 0.014. If I want to add those together, you have to line up the decimals. So I have to line them up like this. So the decimals are lined up together. So when I add them together, that's 4, 5, 1, 0. So 0.0154. If I want to write that in scientific notation, I put a dot after the first number. So this is 1.54 times 10. If I moved it backwards, so divided by 10, which means I'm multiplying by 10 a -2 amount of times. All right, number 15. Write the answer in scientific notation. These should be pretty easy because there is shortcuts for multiplication. One less than multiplication is addition. So if I want to combine these, I use Powers' rules. That's 10 to the 9th power. If I want to combine these, I use Powers' rules. That's 10 to the -5th power. Because if you add a negative, you're really subtracting. The first number, normal numbers, normal multiplication, 72. This one, normal numbers, normal multiplication, 35. But these are not scientific notation as much as they look like it, because scientific notation, the decimal has to come after the first number. So we can't have 72, but we can have 7.2. And over here we can't have 35, but we can have 3.5. So we actually made this 10 times smaller. So to even that out, we have to make this one 10 times bigger. It's kind of like we're just borrowing a 10, or like we're saving a 10 over here, so we're going to spend it over there. All right, this one, we made it 10 times smaller, so this one we got to make 10 times bigger, which actually -4, because -4 is bigger than -5. So there you go. All right, this one. The trick to this one is knowing that if you don't see a power, it's a 1. X to the first times x to the second, 1 less than multiplication is addition. So if you haven't done these, this is the once you come into school, you know nothing. Then we teach you addition and subtraction. Then we teach you multiplication and division. Then we teach you powers. And whenever you want to do shortcuts, you just do one thing less. So this is asking us to multiply. So 1 less than multiplication is addition. I can combine these by just adding the powers to x to the 3rd. This is just multiplication, so I can combine these by adding. This is x to the -5th. Now I can do what's in the parentheses. This is division. 1 less than division is subtraction. So 3 minus -5, this is x to the +8. Because when you subtract a negative, it actually gets bigger. We're going to square it. That's x to the power of 8 to the power of 2. That's powers of powers. That's the highest one. So if we want a shortcut, we do one less, which is multiply. And this is x to the 16th. Okay, over here, x to the 5th. Where did I just go? Okay, x to the 5th divided by x to the n is x to the 3rd, which means 1 less than division is subtraction. So 5 minus n is 3. And if I minus 5, -n equals -2, n equals 2. So basically, the missing n was 2, right? 5 minus 2 is 3. Over here, 1 less than powers of powers is division, or multiplication. So n times n is 16. Or n squared equals 16. I take the square root, take the square root. N could have been 4 or -4. -4 is the hard answer, but if you could see that it was 4, good for you. All right, this is multiplication. 1 less and is addition. So this one plus this one is 12. So I could set up an equation, n plus 2n equals 12. So 3n's equal 12, divide by 3. N's equal 4. So it's just knowing the rules. It's knowing that you do one less over there. Okay, over here, simplify. Pink number times a black number, 100 times 2. The square root of 100 is just 10, so this becomes 10 times 10 root 2. This one, the biggest pink number that goes in is 4, so this is 4. Square root of 4 times the square root of 2. The square root of 4 is just 2, so this is 2 root 2. Okay, rational or irrational. Hopefully you guys got these by now. Pi ruins it, irrational. Pi ruins it again, irrational. I don't know why I did that. 0.1234 is not a pattern. It would have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So this is irrational. And negative 17 over 5, rational. Fractions are rational. That's literally what it means. Okay, we did these in class, but let's just do them again. I think y was supposed to be here. So what do I know? I know y plus 12. Y plus 12 has to be 180. Plus 112 equals 180. So if I minus 112, y equals 68. Is that right? 68? Is that what we said in class? 68? Okay, so if y is 68, you could set up the equation that now I see a triangle over here. So if I add up that, and that, it needs to be 180. If you know the rule that these other two are always going to be equal to what the outside guy is, you could set up that one too. But let's say that you don't remember that rule and you just know that the three things inside of a triangle need to add to 180. So you could say 9x's plus 5x's plus 68 have to add up to 180. So 14x's plus 68 equal 180. So 14x's, once I minus 68 and minus 68, 14x's have to equal, what is that, 112? And I think after we divide by 14, the x's were 8s. Okay, over to this guy. And we did this one in class, so hopefully you were there for it. In these setups, whatever's across from it is going to be the same color. Whatever's next to it has to add up, usually I've been doing red, has to add up to 180 because they're adjacent to each other. They make a straight line. So this one's going to be red, and whatever across from yourself has to be the same color. Okay, so we really only have two angles, and the ones in the bottom are going to match because these lines are parallel. So we only have two angles. So I look for something that has the same letter. Let's see. This is a blue angle. This is a red angle, but they both have x's in them, so I can write an equation because they have the same letter. I know that 6x's plus 2, any blue plus any red equals 180. So that means 16x's plus 52 equals 180. So 16x's, once I minus 52, wow, I'm coughing my butt off over here. 16x's equal 7, 10, 8, 128. And 128 divided by 16. 128 divided by 16 is 8. So x's are 8s. That doesn't mean I know the blue and red corners yet. So let's go plug it in. If x's are 8s, right here, if x's are 8s, then 6 times 8 is 48 plus 2. All the blue corners are 50. So that's 50, that's 50, that's 50, that's 50. All the red corners have to add up to 180, so these are all 130. Okay, let's solve for y. I know 10 y's now have to be 130. 10 y's have to be 130. Divide by 10. Y equals 13. All right, so y's are 13s. A, over here, we have to find the A. Sweet. 7 A's plus 1 is 50. 7 A's plus 1 equals 50. I'm writing too thick of a pen. Minus 1, 7 A's equal 49. Divide by 7, and A's equal 7. All right, so yeah, I didn't ask you how much the blues and the reds were, but you needed to know blues were 50, reds were 130, and that helped you solve all the rest of them. All right, how many solutions? You're not actually solving these problems. You're just telling me, do the x's get rid of each other? Because that makes it weird. Over here, I have 3 x's. Over here, I have no x's. That's not weird. They don't get rid of each other. This problem stays normal with one answer. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 1 is minus 5 equals 5x's minus 1. Okay, so we have 5x's over here. We have 5x's over there. They are going to cancel each other out, so this problem gets weird. It's either 0 or infinity. Let's see. Negative 5 equals negative 1. No, it does not. Not never. 1/2 of 6x is 3x. 1/2 of negative 4 is negative 2. Over here, we have a negative 2, and we have positive 3x. Let's see. We have 3x's on this side. We have 3x's on this side. This problem's going to get weird. Negative 2 equals negative 2. Yes, it does all the time. Infinity. Over here, we have negative 3x's. We have positive 3x's. Those are not the same number. This problem does not get weird. One normal old answer. This guy has no baby's laundry, so it's plus 0. So this guy's going to start at 0. His slope is negative 1, so he goes down $1 every day. There we go, down $1 every day. Okay, so there's him. This guy has baby's laundry of 9, which is up there, and he goes up $1, but every 2 days. So it's going to take, there we go. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. All right, so that's where they connect. We always say the x first, then the y. So how far is it sideways? This is at negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6. Right? We always say the x first, and the x-axis is the sideways axis. It's reminding you. And then how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Positive 6. All right, slopes is just a number. 3, he's going down. He's going down, so I know that. Let's see if I can just do this really quick. This is going down. This is a do nothing. 5 is going up, so he's going to be positive something. You don't have to write positive, but I'm just letting you know it's doing it. 6, we're definitely going down. He's going to be negative. 7, he's stuck in time. He's going to be undefined. So right away, you have to know the difference between going down, doing nothing, and being undefined. Now, for the ones that actually have a score, the negatives and the positives, we need to say how much. 3 is going down $1, but every day. If you do something every day, that's your score. So he's going down $1 every day. 5, he's going up $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 every day. So that's just his score. We could say, you don't need to say positive, just 5. 6, negative. He's going down $1, but we don't give him that score because he doesn't do it every day. He does it every 2 days, so we have to put that on the bottom. His score is negative 1/2. To make it into an equation, all of them except for the undefined are going to get y equals, y equals, y equals, y equals, and then this guy's going to get x equals because he's the one that breaks all the rules. All right, whatever your slope is, you put it with the x. Not negative 1s, negative x. This one has 0 x's, so I'm not gonna mention it. This one has 0 x's, right? That's what would go in the x my laundry box, but we're not gonna mention the zeros. This one, what goes in my laundry box is gonna be 5. This one, what goes in my laundry box is gonna be negative 1/2. I have to remember the x. I will do the last guy later. And the baby's laundry is, where is he right now? Number 3 right now, not in the past, not in the future, is at positive 4. Number 4 is also at positive 4. So his equation is just y equals 4. You don't have to put the positive for that one, just y equals 4. Number 5, let's see. He's starting at 0, so we put plus 0, but you don't have to mention anything that has zeros in it. So his equation is just y equals 5x. Number 6 is going down. He starts at negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those are the equations there. Y equals negative x plus 4, y equals 4, y equals 5x, y equals negative 1/2 x minus 6. And the last one, he's stuck on the timeline. Where is he stuck in time? He's negative 1, negative 2. He's at day negative 3. So he does have an equation, but we're just talking left and right. Where is he? This guy, 100. let's see, the rain comes down, hits a bunch of stuff, doesn't hit that column because it's covered. So if it's, this would be 62 100ths, but the 6 is ruined there, so we throw it away. The 10 is ruined there, so we throw it away. And this is 56 90ths. They're both even, cut them in half, 28 45ths. And I think that's the answer. All right, this one. Let's see. This guy goes up $16, so we need an equation. Y equals my laundry and baby's laundry. He makes $16, but that's not his score because it takes him 4 days to do it, so we divide it by 4. And he's really making $4 every day. So his slope, he's changing $4 every day. But if you made $4 every day and you worked for 2 days, you should have $8. Why do I only have 5 after day 2? Or if I worked for 6 days times $4 every day, I should have $24. Why do I only have 21? Because for some reason I started in debt $3. I started $3 down. I started with negative $3. So maybe I owed someone $3 or whatever, but this guy started below 0. So there we go. There's the honors in advance, all the homework. You're not expected to know all of it, but 80, get 8 out of 13, 11 out of 13 categories, and you got an A. All right, good job, good luck. See you tomorrow.